right, let's go ahead and break some stuff down. I'm going to use this brother's right here comment. You have to understand, when you're on this channel, my job is to give you the real. And sometimes that's going to be the unpopular opinion. That's what y'all have to understand. If not, you're going to get a channel just going to cater to your feelings. And that's what a lot of you got out there. All right. And that's why YouTube boxing is the way it is right now. OK, why can't you just maybe accept that I see things that you don't see? But nonetheless, hater has been shouted out there, and I accept your challenge. So you said that it wasn't a hardcore breakdown. OK, so let me break this down methodically so you can see that it's engineered behind intelligence and not nobody's emotions. That's what a lot of other people out here ride off of. So I'm going to use your comment. You're saying the same person that I say that he doesn't compare to didn't have power himself. Let me first start there. OK, number one, thinking that Floyd Mayweather doesn't have power is a miseducation by boxing media. Let me say that again. Thinking Floyd Mayweather doesn't have power is a miseducation by boxing media. OK, Shakur don't hit as hard as Floyd. You want to know why? When has Shakur ever in his career been called a knockout artist? Never. OK, Floyd, pretty boy, knockout artist. Both hands. Floyd hit hard. OK, it's a difference. Shakur don't got no power and got some brittle hands. OK, Floyd got power with brittle hands. Do you see the difference? He's somebody who couldn't remain throwing that recklessly hard. So he did something that makes him one of the best. He learned how to continue to win with another style. That's something a lot of boxers don't know how to do. No, Shakur is not on Floyd's level as far as power goes, because Floyd was knocking people out early in his career. Shakur has never done that. Now, is that truth or fact? Fact, right? Okay, moving on. You saying that, okay, what do you mean he never walked nobody down? He walked down Jamel Herring and Oscar Valdez. You know what? I'll even throw you the Jamel Herring, even though I'm going to slightly disagree, but I'm going to throw you that. Say, okay, you can say he walked down Jamel Herring. I'm going to give you that. But saying he walked down Oscar Valdez, but running when he got extra time on the clock, let me tell you what walking down is. Walking down, as I'm sure you probably know, is a pressure fighter's tactic. You know the result of walking people down? Two things happen. You either get knocked out or stopped. That's what walking somebody down is. Okay? Now, if you say he walked Oscar Valdez down, he should have stopped him or knocked him out. Except in the 12th round, when I seen Shakur look up at a clock and do the ring around the rosy. That's what I seen. Oscar Valdez was on his ass. I'm not saying he never stepped to Valdez. I'm saying Valdez was on his ass to the end. Hence, that's why he ran the last few minutes of the round, because Valdez was on his ass. So I'll give you Jamel Herring if that's what you want. But saying he walked down Jamel Herring and Oscar Valdez, that's incorrect. Okay? So if you want to argue about my opinion about what I said about him, I just broke it down in logic why what you just wrote me doesn't match what you're trying to say about me, because I just broke it down logically. Okay? And the other thing is, Floyd, since you want to talk about how, you know, he couldn't hit that well, or he wasn't punching that hard, but he was still able to be successful. Yes, because Floyd beat most people up mentally first. He drained their confidence first. And why? Because after you keep missing and you can't land, what does that do to your fight morale? It lowers it. And the other thing that separates Floyd from Shakur, Floyd knew how to break people down. He knew how to break you down. Okay? And even with brittle hands, he still got more power than Shakur. Go ask people who fought Floyd that they said that Floyd didn't have no power. They're like, no, he got power. It's just not devastating power, but he got that zap power. You know what I'm saying? Floyd still can't get you out of there. That's the crazy thing. Floyd still can get you out of there. Still. So there's no comparison with somebody who used to be a knockout artist but had brittle hands versus somebody who doesn't have no power and has brittle hands. Those two different things, bro. Those are two different things. Okay? And when it comes to breaking opponents down, you have to understand, Shakur gets to a point where he doesn't know what to do with somebody. That's why he always chooses to try to drain out the clock. Okay? It's okay. He's just not that guy. That's all right. But if you feel like he is, that's fine. But this is the biggest thing. If you don't agree with me, just agree to disagree. But you ain't got to throw the hater title around because I'm saying something that you don't understand. I understood everything that you wrote right here, bro. Everything. And this is what I'm going to end it with. And this will be pretty much the nail in the coffin. If what I was saying was based off haterism and I dislike him so much, why would I make videos where I'm encouraging him to win? Where I'm encouraging him to talk his shit? Where I encourage him to fight his fight? That don't make no sense. I'd have just been straight rooting for Zepeda. That's what haters do. They want to see you lose. You didn't see me wanting this man to lose. But yet y'all coming here with accusations because you can't see what I see and we don't agree. Let's just agree to disagree. But you ain't got to throw no titles around just because you can't compute what I'm saying or you don't understand or see what I see. It's just that simple. That's why I say hardcore review, because I guarantee you go talk to somebody who really is inclined about boxing. This is what I found out. Most people who have a fighting background, their opinion about Shakur's performance sounds like mine. Most of them. Most of y'all just probably just watch from a TV perspective or don't practice or train in any type of way. Y'all have this, oh my God, this was a Mayweather performance. I find that most people have that outlook on the fight. And then you say, well, you know, Floyd called him TBE. You guys don't know Floyd. When has Floyd ever really wanted to congratulate somebody? When has Floyd ever been comfortable with somebody saying, with people saying that somebody can be the next Floyd? Keep in mind, Devin Haney didn't sign to him for this very reason. So the fact that he even, and I ain't seen him do it, I seen clips and stuff like that, but if he went and told Shakur that he's the next TBE or the next, you know what I'm saying, greatest of all time or something like that, that's because he's knows that Shakur is nowhere near close to him. Because had it actually have been, you would see something different from Floyd. Wasn't Floyd just a dude talking about Terence Crawford need to fight David Benavidez first? With all the haterade shit Floyd do, you think he really gonna go in there and congratulate somebody because that's really what he feel? No, he sees his limitations in Shakur, and of course he's gonna say that, because if Shakur was anything legitimate or on his level, like he truly believed, you would see the opposite from Floyd. You ain't studied Floyd yet? We talking about a dude who go out his way to hate on a kid in Devin Haney. Look what all the stuff he does with Devin Haney. And as far as accomplishment and what's going on, Devin's closer to Floyd than Shakur. You know what I'm saying? And if Shakur was all that, he could have fought Devin Haney. But he didn't, because he figured, oh, I'm worth more. Actually, you haven't done anything. Still, and you finna be 30. You haven't done anything significant. Oh, he couldn't get the fights or whatever and whatnot. Well, therefore, that's why you take an opportunity like the one Devin give you, especially with that, with all that skill. I'd have took that 25% and rain danced on his ass. But then again, that's just me. But what you saying, it doesn't compare, because you're trying to say Floyd don't have no power. That's a miseducation. Floyd does have power. He just had weak hands. Okay. And I understand the walking down thing, but he didn't walk down no Valdez. I'll give you Jamel Herring if that's what you want, because that ended in a stoppage. Because like I said, when you walk somebody down, it's either going to end in a knockout or a stoppage. So I'll give you that one. But when you talking about hater, that's the opposite of what I've been doing for him in my previous videos. So basically, in a nutshell, you've been shut down on all avenues in which you have presented to me, and it's been done in a logical way. If you a hater, you can't do nothing like this. But if you get too emotional about what I say, then of course you're gonna come out with those accusations. Now, I seen some people say, you know what, I'm not mad at this take, or I agree, or you know what, Bruce, I agree of some of what you say, but not everything. That's how you respond. You know what I'm saying? Those are, you know what I'm saying, boxing fans. You're like, you know what, I can kind of see where you're coming from. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say it's a hardcore review. So you should have probably been on the casual video. That's all I'm saying. I ain't taking no real digs at you. I'm just putting the same stuff on you that you tried to put on me. You know, and I'm using you for example for everybody else. Don't come over here with that haterism shit. I guarantee you, when you come over here, you ain't got to worry about nobody hating on nobody because they don't like nobody. All right. First of all, that's immature as hell. All right. I count on you be able to come over here and get the real spill regardless of how you think I might feel about somebody. Because however I feel about somebody, that's not going to affect how I'm going to describe their skill set. I don't care who they are. And I've shown this over and over and over and over again. So for you to say anything different about me is disingenuous, bro. You know, and I knew that I was going to get some blowback from it because it's not a popular opinion. You know what I'm saying? But y'all suffering right now from people feeding y'all popular opinions because they want to keep y'all happy. I'm going to tell you the real. And if you don't agree, eventually down the line, you'll see whether I'm right or not. I was called a hater with the Errol Spence thing. I still tell Errol Spence fans to this day, I'm not a hater of Errol. I just called it for what it is. Same thing with Jerron Booth Ennis. I'm not a hater of Jerron Booth Ennis. I support Jerron Booth Ennis. But if I don't see what you see and agree what you agree with, then of course I'm a hater. Now I just been holding down Shakur, even though this dumb motherfucker said, and you're right, I don't like Shakur. Why would I like a guy? Listen to this. And this is what I'm going to end it with, because I didn't prove everything else. Why would I like a guy who says, he just said this last week, that Lomachenko is the GOAT and Sugar is Buns. Now listen, but he called Sugar Buns because his lack of defense and the fact that he fought white boys, but he just called Lomachenko the GOAT. Do I need to say anything else? So no, I ain't gotta like him. That's retarded. But yet I still wanted him to win and do better, and I ain't want people talking about him. So if I'm a hater, I've been like, fuck him. I hope to pay to knock his ass out. I wouldn't do to him what he did to Devin Haney, since you want to be judging and shit. You know, that's all I'm saying, brother. Tighten your shit up. Get it together, man. We ain't cut like that over here. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.